In the vast panorama of philosophical thought, there are few thinkers as original and thought-provoking as Rudolph Steiner. A man who dared to penetrate the superimposed layers of reality to explore the depths of human consciousness. In the heart of Steiner's Anthroposophy lies the profound idea of intuitive thinking, a bridge between the spiritual and material worlds. Steiner urges us to recognize that we are not idle spectators in a mechanistic, predetermined universe, but active participants in a reality that's constantly unfolding, evolving, and being shaped by our thoughts. In this constant interplay, intuitive thinking becomes a pathway, a journey towards spiritual enlightenment, challenging and redefining our conventional perceptions of knowledge and free will. But how exactly does this challenge occur? Consider the conventional understanding of knowledge, a collection of facts, figures, and theories gathered from textbooks, lectures, or the internet. Now contrast this with Steiner's view, where knowledge is not something you merely receive or accumulate, but something you create through the act of thinking. Knowledge, then, is not a static entity but a dynamic process, a constant dance between the knower and the known, fueled by the flame of consciousness. And what about free will? The average perspective confines it to the realm of decisions, choices, actions, all influenced by external factors and internal impulses. But as per Steiner, freedom is not a mere absence of constraints or the ability to choose between alternatives. True freedom lies in the capacity to act according to one's insights, to translate one's intuitive thoughts into actions. This is a fundamental shift from being a passive recipient of external influences to becoming an active creator of one's destiny. Now, this brings us to the dichotomy between conscious and unconscious motives, a long-standing debate in the field of psychology. Steiner acknowledges this dichotomy, but he radically critiques it. For him, the unconscious is not a repository of repressed desires or latent memories. Instead, it is a wellspring of spiritual wisdom and intuition waiting to be tapped into through conscious effort. Each step into the unconscious is a step towards the spiritual world, a step closer to intuitive thinking. One might question, why should we challenge these deeply ingrained perspectives? Why should we step into the unknown terrains of our consciousness? The answer lies in the inherent human quest for knowledge and freedom. Steiner, like many philosophers before him, argued that these two aspects of human life are intrinsically connected. But unlike others, he proposed a radical way to realize this connection. Steiner's argument was simple yet profound. Our understanding of the world is not a passive reception of facts, but an active engagement. When we engage with the world through intuitive thinking, we not only acquire knowledge but also experience a unique kind of freedom. The freedom to act according to our insights, the freedom to shape our own reality. But this freedom, this knowledge, does not come easily. It requires us to dive deep into the ocean of our consciousness, to navigate its hidden currents, to brave its monstrous waves, and to finally emerge with the pearls of thought and corals of perception. And this is where the real magic occurs. When we dive into this ocean, when we engage in this active process of intuitive thinking, we begin to see that our consciousness is not an isolated entity, but a part of the cosmic consciousness, a drop in the vast ocean of existence. In essence, we begin to realize that we are not separate from the universe, but integral parts of it. Every thought we think, every perception we form, every action we take, contributes to the grand cosmic dance, shaping and reshaping the fabric of reality. And this realization, this act of intuitive thinking, is the bridge that Steiner built. A bridge that connects the worldly with the spiritual, the mundane with the divine, and the individual with the universe. As we walk on this bridge, as we engage with the world through intuitive thinking, we begin to see that we are not just spectators of the cosmic dance, but dancers too. And as we dance, as we explore the depths of our consciousness, as we challenge our conventional perceptions, we begin to experience a unique kind of freedom, the freedom to act according to our insights, the freedom to shape our reality, the freedom to transcend the dualistic boundaries of the self and the world. This is the essence of Steiner's philosophy, the essence of Anthroposophy. This is the power of intuitive thinking. And this is the first step on the path towards spiritual enlightenment. So dare to step, dare to think, dare to explore, and dare to be free. For in this daring lies the key to understanding ourselves, the world, and the universe. But how do we embark upon this path of intuitive thinking, this journey towards spiritual enlightenment? How do we tap into the wellsprings of intuition lying dormant in the depths of our consciousness? This is where the crux of Steiner's philosophy lies. It lies in the realization that the quest for knowledge and the realization of freedom are intimately connected. We often think of knowledge as an endpoint, an objective to be achieved. But in the realm of Steiner's Anthroposophy, knowledge is a journey, a quest. It is not a passive reception of facts, but an active engagement with the world. It involves plunging into the depths of our consciousness, navigating the currents of thoughts and perceptions, and finally emerging with a renewed understanding of ourselves and the world. This journey cannot be undertaken with preconceptions or prejudices. It requires an open mind, a free spirit, a daring heart, and an unquenchable thirst for knowledge. It requires us to question everything, to challenge our beliefs, and to constantly evolve our perspectives. This is not an easy task. It is a journey fraught with challenges and setbacks. Every time we dive into the ocean of our consciousness, every time we challenge our beliefs, every time we evolve our perspectives, we not only acquire knowledge but also experience freedom. Not the freedom defined by the absence of constraints, but the freedom born out of the ability to act according to our insights, the freedom to shape our own reality. This is the essence of Steiner's philosophy, the connection between the quest for knowledge and the realization of freedom. It is a radical redefinition of what it means to be free. It is not about doing whatever we want, whenever we want. It is about acting according to our insights, aligning our actions with our thoughts, and shaping our own reality. Now, what role does consciousness play in this journey? In the vast ocean of existence, our consciousness is like a ship. It can either stay anchored in the safe harbor of preconceived notions and unchallenged beliefs, or it can set sail into the uncharted waters of intuitive thinking. It can either remain a passive observer or become an active participant in the grand cosmic dance. According to Steiner, our consciousness is not just a passive observer but an active participant. It is not just a container of thoughts and perceptions but a shaper of reality. It is not just a ship but the wind that propels it. It is the active shaping force that molds our perceptions into a meaningful whole. When we think, we do not just reproduce the world in our minds. We actively shape it according to our insights. We translate our thoughts into actions, our actions into experiences, and our experiences into knowledge. This is the magical power of thinking. It does not just mirror reality, it creates it. It does not just reflect the world, it affects it. However, this power of thinking is not something we possess. It is something we participate in. It is a process, a journey, a dance. It is a dynamic interplay between the self and the world, the individual and the universe. And it is in this dance, in this interplay, that the magic of intuitive thinking unfolds. In the grand cosmic dance, our individual consciousness is not isolated or separate, but interconnected and interdependent. It is not just a drop in the ocean, but the ocean in a drop. It extends beyond its boundaries to touch the universal, to resonate with the cosmic. And this is where we discover our individuality, our unique vantage point from which to engage with the world. Our individuality is not a limitation but an opportunity. It is an opportunity to express our unique insights, to contribute our unique perspectives, to shape our unique reality. It is an opportunity to participate in the evolution of consciousness, to contribute to the grand cosmic dance. And it is in this participation, in this contribution, that we realize our freedom, our ability to act according to our insights. So, let's engage with the world. Let's dance with the universe. Let's shape our reality. Let's not just think, but intuitively think. Let's not just exist, but consciously exist. Let's embark on the quest for knowledge and the realization of freedom. And let's do it with the conviction that each step we take on this journey is a step towards spiritual enlightenment. Stepping into the realm of intuitive thinking doesn't merely alter our understanding of the world. It also transforms our relationship with it. It helps us bridge the perceived dualism between the self and the external world, enabling us to engage in a more profound, meaningful manner with the universe and its myriad manifestations. This dualism, often perceived as a barrier, is not a dividing line but a meeting point. A place where the self and the universe engage in a dialogue, where personal insights meet universal truths. Steiner contended that the act of intuitive thinking allows us to form a bridge between the self and the external world, to overcome the perceived boundaries of our individual consciousness and connect with the universal. This doesn't mean that we lose our individuality. On the contrary, it is through the act of intuitive thinking that we truly come to acknowledge and appreciate our individuality. We each possess a unique consciousness, the aggregate of our experiences, thoughts, and perceptions, that provides us with our unique perspective, our unique understanding of the world. And it is through this unique perspective, through our individual consciousness, that we engage with the world. The world, in turn, responds and transforms, shaped by our thoughts and actions. Our individual consciousness is our unique vantage point from which we perceive and engage with the world. It is through this vantage point that we can not only perceive but also touch the universal. And it is by touching the universal, by experiencing the interplay between self and universe, that we discover the spiritual dimension of our existence. Steiner's philosophy tells us that thinking is not just an intellectual exercise. It's a gateway to the soul's deeper truths. It connects us with the spiritual undercurrents of the universe, allowing us to experience the divine that pulsates within and around us. The act of thinking, especially intuitive thinking, is in itself a spiritual practice. When we engage with our thoughts, when we dive deep into the ocean of our consciousness, we embark upon a spiritual journey. A journey that takes us beyond the mundane, beyond the superficial, into the realm of the divine. Each thought we think, each insight we glean, carries within it the potential to transcend the mundane and touch the divine. When we think, we don't merely process information. We commune with the universe. We tap into the spiritual dimension of our existence. This spiritual dimension is not separate from our physical existence, but intricately woven into it. It is the undercurrent that gives depth to the ocean of our existence. It is the unseen force that animates the visible, the silent rhythm that shapes the dance of life. So, the journey of intuitive thinking is not just a quest for knowledge, not just a pathway to freedom, but a pilgrimage into the spiritual core of our existence. It's a journey that invites us to engage with the world in a way that transcends the physical, the tangible, the temporal. It invites us to perceive the invisible, to touch the intangible, to experience the eternal. In this journey, we don't travel alone. We are integral parts of a greater whole. We are not isolated islands, but interconnected nodes in the cosmic web. We don't merely observe the evolution of consciousness, we participate in it. We contribute to it with our thoughts, our actions, our insights. Every thought we think, every insight we glean, every action we take, is a ripple in the cosmic ocean. And each ripple, each wave, contributes to the evolution of consciousness, shaping and reshaping the cosmic dance. Embracing this perspective, stepping on this path of intuitive thinking, allows us to experience a profound sense of spiritual freedom. Steiner's vision of spiritual freedom isn't about breaking away from the world. It's about breaking into it, diving deeply into it, engaging profoundly with it. It's about transcending the perceived dualism between the self and the universe, between the physical and the spiritual, between the temporal and the eternal. With intuitive thinking, we are not just cognizing the world. We are spiritual beings actively participating in the cosmic dance. We are not merely observers, but co-creators in the evolution of consciousness, capable of touching the divine through our thoughts and actions, connecting us to the essence of the universe and allowing us to experience an unparalleled sense of spiritual freedom. The kind of freedom that is not just about liberation from constraints, but about the liberation of our consciousness, the expansion of our understanding, the deepening of our engagement with the universe. As we delve deeper into the ocean of consciousness, the magnitude of its significance becomes more apparent. Just as the ocean holds within its depths pearls of exquisite beauty and corals of intricate complexity, our consciousness houses thoughts that can illuminate the darkness of ignorance and perceptions that can pierce the veil of illusion. It is in our consciousness that we find the capacity to engage with the world, to make sense of it, to mold it according to our insights. It is through our consciousness that we turn the raw, sensory data of the external world into a meaningful narrative, a coherent understanding, a vibrant experience. This shaping of perception is not a passive process. It's a dynamic, creative act, an act of intellectual labor, if you may, that requires effort, engagement, and, most importantly, active thinking. Our thinking is not merely a mirror reflecting the world. It's more of a sculptor, actively shaping and reshaping our perceptions, continually molding them into a meaningful whole. The chaotic stimuli from the external world enter the workshop of our mind, where they are processed, analyzed, and synthesized into a coherent whole through the act of thinking. The role of consciousness in this process is monumental. It is the stage upon which the drama of knowledge acquisition plays out. It's the canvas upon which the portrait of our understanding of the universe is painted. It's the workshop where the raw materials of perception are transformed into the finished product of knowledge. Without consciousness, there would be no thinking, no perception, no knowledge. There would be only a barrage of stimuli, devoid of meaning or coherence. Embracing the philosophy of Steiner, we begin to realize that the dualism between the self and the external world is not a divide but a dynamic interchange. It is not a barrier but a bridge that enables us to extend our individual consciousness and touch the universal. It is through this act of intuitive thinking that we overcome the perceived boundaries of our consciousness, the supposed limits of our understanding. Our individuality is not a confinement, but a unique vantage point from which we can engage with the world, from which we can reach out and touch the universal. The spiritual dimension of our existence is not an abstract concept, not a distant reality, but an integral part of our everyday life. It is woven into the fabric of our thoughts, embedded in the depth of our perceptions. Each thought we think, each perception we form, each moment we experience is a potential gateway to the spiritual dimension. It's a potential entry point into a realm that transcends the material, that touches the divine. Steiner emphasizes that thinking is not just a cognitive function. It's not just a tool for knowledge acquisition. It's a spiritual practice. It's a pathway that leads us to the spiritual dimension of our existence. And this is not an exclusive path reserved for the mystics or the enlightened ones. It's a path accessible to each one of us, a path that invites us all to embark upon a journey of discovery, a journey that can bring us closer to the spiritual core of our existence. This spiritual core is not separate from us. It's not something we have to seek outside. It's within us. It's in our thoughts, in our perceptions, in the depth of our consciousness. The journey of intuitive thinking is not a journey to an external destination, but a journey inward, a dive into the depth of our consciousness, a discovery of our spiritual core. The spiritual journey of intuitive thinking is not a solitary journey. It's a communal journey, a collective endeavor. We are not alone in this journey. We are part of a greater whole, an integral part of the evolution of consciousness. Our thoughts, our perceptions, our actions contribute to this evolution. They shape it, mold it, propel it forward. Steiner's vision of spiritual freedom is not an escape from the world, but a deeper engagement with it. It's about being fully present in the here and now, fully engaged with the world, fully aware of our thoughts, our perceptions, our actions. It's about realizing that our thinking is not a mere cognitive function, but a spiritual activity that connects us with the essence of the universe, that allows us to experience the divine in the everyday, that empowers us to live a life of knowledge, freedom, and spiritual fulfillment. As we delve deeper into this understanding, we recognize the potency of intuitive thinking as a tool to connect us with the wider universe. Intuitive thinking, a central tenet of Steiner's philosophy, provides a pathway for this connectedness, allowing us to transcend the perceived boundaries of self and external world. This dualism, often placed at the center of philosophical debates, is not an impenetrable wall but a porous membrane that can be navigated through intuition. As we extend the reach of our consciousness beyond the frontier of our skin, we come to realize that our individual existence is not confined within the circumference of our physical body. We are not isolated islands in an ocean of indifference. We are, in fact, intimate parts of a vast interconnected network of consciousness, a universal consciousness that pervades the entire cosmos. Our individual consciousness, with its unique set of experiences, perceptions, thoughts, and insights, is a distinct viewpoint within this universal consciousness, a unique lens through which the universe observes and understands itself. This lens, colored by our personal experiences and cultural conditioning, offers a unique perspective on the universe, a perspective that adds to the richness and diversity of the universal consciousness. The power of intuitive thinking lies in its capacity to transcend the known and venture into the unknown, to navigate the uncharted territories of consciousness, to bridge the divide between self and the external world. It allows us to tap into the universal consciousness, to partake in its wisdom, to contribute to its evolution. Intuitive thinking is not a passive reception of knowledge but an active engagement with the universe. It is a dynamic, ongoing process that requires effort, commitment, and constant practice. It requires us to let go of our preconceived notions, to be open to new insights, to be willing to let our thoughts wander into the unknown. Intuitive thinking invites us to interact with the world in a more profound, more meaningful way. It encourages us to look beyond the surface, to delve deeper into the nature of things, to uncover the hidden layers of reality. It pushes us to question, to explore, to discover. It urges us to not just exist, but to engage, to participate, to contribute. In the realm of intuitive thinking, every thought, every perception, every experience carries with it the potential to touch the divine, to transcend the mundane, to connect with the spiritual. Every thought is a potential pathway to the soul's deeper truths, a potential bridge to the spiritual dimension of our existence. Steiner's philosophy posits that our existence is not just physical but also spiritual. We are not just creatures of flesh and blood but also beings of spirit and consciousness. The spiritual dimension of our existence is not outside us but within us, embedded in the fabric of our consciousness, intertwined with our thoughts and perceptions. The act of thinking is, in itself, a spiritual practice. It is a means of connecting with the spiritual dimension of our existence, of tapping into the eternal wisdom of the universal consciousness. Each thought we think, each perception we form, each moment we experience is an opportunity to engage with the spiritual, to touch the divine, to experience the sacred. In this journey of intuitive thinking, of spiritual exploration, we are not alone. We are part of a collective endeavor, a communal journey towards spiritual freedom. We are integral parts of a greater whole, participating in the grand symphony of consciousness. Our thoughts, our perceptions, our actions contribute to this symphony, adding to its richness, its diversity, its beauty. Steiner's vision of spiritual freedom is thus not an escape from the world but a deeper engagement with it. It is about living fully, consciously, intentionally. It is about participating in the evolution of consciousness, contributing to the symphony of the universe, experiencing the divine in the everyday. It is about realizing the sacredness of our existence, the divinity of our thoughts, the spirituality of our consciousness. In the grand orchestra of existence, our thoughts play a significant role. They are not merely cognitive exercises but potent spiritual tools that can pierce the veil of the material world and reach into the realm of spirit. Within each thought lies a seed of divinity, a spark of the sacred, waiting to be kindled. Each thought carries within it the potential to transcend the mundane, the routine, the ordinary, and touch the realm of the extraordinary, the sacred, the divine. The spiritual dimension of our existence is not somewhere out there, separate and distinct from us, but right here, within us, interwoven with the fabric of our consciousness. It is in the depths of our thoughts, in the silence of our minds, in the stillness of our hearts, that we find the profound spiritual truths that guide our existence. Every thought, every perception, every moment of consciousness is an opening, a doorway into this spiritual dimension. And it is through the act of thinking, through the process of intuitive thinking, that we can reach this doorway and step into the realm of the spirit. Steiner's philosophy emphasizes that thinking is not just an intellectual endeavor but also a spiritual practice. It is not just about understanding the world around us but also about connecting with the world within us. It is about uncovering the spiritual truths that lie hidden beneath the surface of our consciousness, about listening to the quiet whispers of our souls, about aligning our thoughts with the rhythm of the universe. This act of thinking, of introspection, of self-exploration, is in itself a spiritual journey. It is a journey into the depths of our consciousness, a voyage into the vast ocean of our minds. It is a journey of self-discovery, of self-realization, of self-transformation. As we embark on this journey, as we navigate the waters of our consciousness, we uncover the pearls of wisdom, the corals of insight, the treasures of knowledge that lie hidden in its depths. Each thought, each insight, each moment of understanding is a step forward on this journey, a step closer to the spiritual core of our existence. The path of intuitive thinking is a path of discovery, a path of exploration, a path of transformation. It invites us to dive deep into our consciousness, to challenge our preconceived notions, to question our assumptions, to confront our fears and insecurities. It invites us to engage with the world in a more profound, more meaningful way, to see the world not just as it appears but as it truly is. As we walk on this path, as we delve deeper into our consciousness, as we engage with the world more profoundly, we realize that we are not mere spectators of the universe but active participants in its grand unfolding. We are not just passive observers but active contributors to the evolution of consciousness. We realize that we are integral parts of a greater whole, a universal consciousness that pervades the entire cosmos. Our thoughts, our insights, our perceptions, our actions add to the richness and diversity of this universal consciousness. They shape the universe, mold its evolution, influence its trajectory. And it is through the act of intuitive thinking, through the practice of spiritual introspection, that we can connect with this universal consciousness, partake in its wisdom, contribute to its evolution, and experience the profound sense of freedom, joy, and fulfillment that comes from being in harmony with the universe. This is the spiritual freedom that Steiner envisioned, the freedom that arises from being in tune with the rhythm of the universe, from being in sync with the flow of consciousness. This exploration of the universe, of consciousness, of the self, takes on a profound dimension when seen through the lens of intuitive thinking. We tap into a wellspring of knowledge and insights that illuminate our path, revealing not just the nature of the universe but our place within it. Rudolph Steiner's philosophy of anthroposophy illuminates the way by highlighting the significance of intuitive thinking in bridging the gap between the spiritual and material worlds. His concept of thinking is not confined merely to a cognitive function but is expanded to incorporate a spiritual activity that connects us with the essence of the universe. In the vastness of the cosmos, we are not mere specks of dust, tossed about by the whims of fate. Instead, through intuitive thinking, we realize our agency, our capacity to shape our destiny, our ability to resonate with the universal rhythm. This realization is not a mere intellectual exercise but a profound spiritual awakening, an awakening that brings with it a sense of freedom, a freedom that stems not from the absence of constraints but from the alignment with the universe, from the resonance with its underlying essence. With this insight, we become not just observers of the universe, but active participants in its evolution. We realize that our thoughts, our actions, our existence are not confined to the material world, but extend into the spiritual realm. In this realm, we are not isolated entities, but integral parts of a grand cosmic symphony, contributing to its harmony, its rhythm, its melody. Our thinking becomes a spiritual activity, a divine dance that syncs us with the universal rhythm, that connects us with the essence of existence. As we delve deeper into the philosophy of Rudolph Steiner and engage with intuitive thinking, our perception of reality undergoes a transformation. We begin to see the world not just as a collection of disparate elements but as an integrated whole, a harmonious unity of interconnected parts. Our consciousness expands, our perception deepens, our understanding broadens, We begin to see the world through the lens of spirit, to perceive the divine in the mundane, to sense the sacred in the ordinary. Through intuitive thinking, we realize that the dichotomy between the self and the external world, between the spiritual and material realms, is not a rigid divide but a permeable boundary, a fluid interface that allows for exchange, interaction, and integration. We realize that our individual consciousness is not isolated but connected, not confined but expansive, reaching out to touch the universal, to resonate with its rhythm, to partake in its wisdom. This is the vision of spiritual freedom that Steiner offers, a freedom that stems from the realization of our interconnectedness, from the understanding of our place in the cosmos, from the experience of our resonance with the universe. It is a freedom that comes not from the absence of constraints but from the awareness of our potential, from the alignment with our purpose, from the harmony with our essence. Steiner's philosophy of anthroposophy invites us to embark on this journey of intuitive thinking, to plunge into the depths of our consciousness, to explore the mysteries of existence, to seek the truth of our being. It invites us to challenge our assumptions, to question our beliefs, to confront our fears, to transcend our limitations. As we undertake this journey, as we walk the path of intuitive thinking, we realize our potential, we awaken to our purpose, we align with our essence. We experience a unique kind of freedom, a spiritual freedom that stems not from the absence of constraints but from the resonance with the universe, from the harmony with its rhythm, from the alignment with its essence. The journey of intuitive thinking is not an easy one. It requires courage, determination, persistence. It requires an open mind, an open heart, an open spirit. But the rewards it brings are immeasurable. A deeper understanding of the self, a broader perception of reality, a more meaningful engagement with the world, a profound experience of spiritual freedom. Thank you for accompanying me on this journey of exploration into Rudolph Steiner's philosophy, into the realm of intuitive thinking, into the depths of consciousness. I invite you to delve deeper, to explore further, to question more, to think intuitively. For it is through such exploration, such questioning, such thinking, that we can bridge the gap between the spiritual and the material, that we can realize our potential, that we can experience spiritual freedom. I hope this video has sparked your interest and ignited your curiosity. If you found the content valuable, please like the video and subscribe to the channel for more such insightful and thought-provoking content. Let's embark on this journey of exploration, of discovery, of transformation, together. Let's delve deeper into the mysteries of existence, the wonders of consciousness, the treasures of intuition. Together, let's explore the cosmos, the self, the essence of existence. Together, let's embark on a journey of intuitive thinking, of spiritual awakening, of self-realization.